Alright, so we all know that when training, especially for hypertrophy, you're going to need protein, and not everyone knows the amount that you need, and that's because there is no certain set amount for everyone. It's different for each individual, so yours is different to mine, etc. etc. It's a lot more simple than you think it might sound, but what you want to do is get your weight. So I'm going to go through mine personally just because I don't know everyone else's. So I weigh myself in kilos because that's just what I personally do. And a couple of days ago I got 79.1, which is transferable to 175 pounds. Rounded up, it's like 174 and a half. But yeah, so 175 pounds. Basically that means that I need 175 grams of protein minimum if I'm wanting to add muscle mass. It can be 1.5 if you want it to be, but that means you do have to work harder in the gym because the body only uses the protein that it needs. So for instance, when your muscle fibers do tear and rebuild, that's protein synthesis, so the protein that you've eaten and absorbed is being used there, and then any protein left after muscle growth and because it gets broken down into amino acids, and most of our body functions from amino acids, as there's different chains of it and all that stuff. Basically, once we've done all of that, once we don't need no more, it is wasted. And basically, if you do use 1.5 grams per pound of your body mass, then you're going to have to train harder than you probably are anyway to make sure that that's used. So you can add intensity through things such as a drop set or supersets. They're the simplest and easiest two ways to add intensity and volume to workouts. Anyway, so now that you know how much protein you need, there's ways to get it, and I just wrote down a couple of foods that I'd like, the first ones that I could think of that I would go to for fast protein intake. Alright, so a chicken breast, 100 grams of a chicken breast usually has 31 grams of protein, so you could round that to 30 grams. 100 grams of a pork tenderloin has 26 grams of protein. 100 gram beefsteak has 21 grams of protein, and 100 gram per boiled eggs, so obviously one egg's not 100 grams, you'd need multiple. They'd be 13 grams of protein. And then apart from them, there's another two things that you can do. So what that'd be is you can have protein shakes, which are very common, a lot of people have those, but you can also have BCAA supplements. I think that's like branded chain amino acids, I'm pretty sure. Personally, I don't use those because I don't feel like I need to yet. But yeah, what happens is when you take protein into your body, it gets broken down into the amino acids to then be used separately for different things and all that stuff. And there's different types of amino acids. And basically this BCAA supplement is supposed to just be the three main ones that we use. The three main ones that we use in bodybuilding. But I mean, I'm going to assume most of you are teenagers, so in teenage bodybuilding you don't need supplements like that because our body's still growing anyway. We still produce a lot of that naturally anyway. So for a teenage bodybuilder, I'd say no more than protein powder, supplement wise. I mean, if you really feel like you need to, you can use creatine, as that can give you like a slight. You probably wouldn't even notice it because I've tried it out myself, and it doesn't make me feel any different in the gym. But it's supposed to give you like that extra edge when you're training to make you try like push harder. But I've never noticed it make a difference after having 2 scoops. So personally, I wouldn't invest in creatine myself. Maybe I'll try again in future when I'm a bit older and stuff like that slows down in the body. But for teenage bodybuilding, I don't recommend supplements apart from protein powder. So anyway, summer video. What you want, 100 grams of protein per pound of your body mass, so weigh yourself and then write that down, and then all of what I told you is per 100 grams of the food, by the way. So you can't just have some beef and say that that's 21 grams, it's like that is in 100 grams of beef. So there's certain measurements of like how much that food is, depends on how much protein there is. Obviously, you know that, just making sure anyway. But yeah, so weigh yourself, and then you want to then see how much that is in pounds, and then you know how many grams of protein you need per day in order to build muscle. I'd advise it to be 1 gram, but if you are going serious in the gym and you know for certain that you're pushing yourself to the limit every day and you're feeling bad the next day, then maybe 1.5, but probably not. Maybe 1.25, but definitely not 1.5 for a teenager, I'd say. But yeah, you want to, obviously these protein intake measurements are, they're exact, but you're not just gonna be eating like 100 grams chicken breast, 100 grams steak. You're gonna be having other things like rice, chips, veg. You can have a lot, and potatoes, all that kind of stuff as well, because we eat whole meals as teenagers, because your mum's probably cooked for you. So unless you're making food for yourself, then this would be alright. But if not, and you don't have that choice anyway, then just try and get a rough guess on how much you are getting. So it doesn't have to be exact anyway. Just try and be rough, but try to be fairly accurate. So that's all it is. Just a gram of protein per pound of body mass, and a couple of ways to get it. Thank you.